Welcome back to another episode of the NG's Siblings Stories podcast. I am Louise,
I'm Chris.
and today we are going to talk about our story of how we both individually moved to Hong Kong after university. And yeah, it's funny. I don't know. It's similar of how our life timeline played out, but it's also so different now. So yeah, you can
So
go first.
I didn't move straight after university. I did an extra year in Manchester, just sort of working in like restaurants and takeaways.
Did you?
Yeah, did you not know?
No.
So all right, so
I
yeah,
thought you
so
were
I
still
went.
in university. That's probably why I thought you were there for 4 years for university.
No, yeah. So in UK, the university is 3 years. So I did my first year, repeated my exams, and passed. Thank God. Then went into my second year, and that was like a shit show because that was just everything went to shit then because it was just all partying nonstop. Got into a lot of shit with the accommodation, shit like that. Then I failed that year, and luckily the university said you can repeat it. So then I did my third year as my repeat of second year. And then that was actually even worse because then I didn't live in accommodation. I rented my own place that was like right bang in the center of the city of Manchester. And it was like literally 2 minutes walk away from Chinatown. And that's where all the
Yeah.
parties were. And then that year was my 21st birthday. And then basically our cousin Andy came over for my party. And then, yeah, it was just constantly partying and he was always around. And then end of that year, I ended up getting a letter when I was back in Ireland with dad. We were outside, and then we got a letter, and then Andy called me. I was like, "Oh, you free?" I'm like, "Yeah, we got a letter here." He's like, "Oh, do you want to sit down first?" I'm like, "Oh shit." So
Did
then
he
me and
open
dad,
it?
yeah, I asked him to open it for me because,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So then me and dad were, I don't know where we were, but we ended up sitting in the car, and then we opened up the speaker, and then Andy was reading it out to me. It's like, "Sorry, you cannot continue your studies here."
Get the tattoo out.
Yes. Yeah, so then dad was like, "Come to ma." I don't know. Found out no. And then I went back to UK and then I moved in my during my repeat of second year, I got kicked out of where I was renting for noise issues, what's it called noise complaint. I moved in with my best friend. He lived in a house with his girlfriend, and that house was his sister's husband's or something. Yes, just whatever, yeah. And then ended up he left because that was my repeat of second year is basically his third year and final year. He obviously passed, graduated, and then he moved back to Hong Kong. And then I did another year. I moved out of that house and lived in the city with some friends and worked in takeaways and stuff like that. And then after a whole
Oh,
year, I decided, all right, you know what? I'm gonna move to Hong Kong because there's better opportunities there.
yeah.
Like,
Okay.
go
So
back
you moved
again.
back to Hong Kong for more opportunities.
Yeah, there was actually so much more opportunities. And then before I moved back, Dad came to UK to pick up all my shit. So I think the TV downstairs in the living room is mine.
Oh, it's gone now.
Oh, is it?
Oh
Okay.
no, it's still here. It's in the spare room, I think. But yeah, that
Um,
TV is shit.
yeah. Well, I bought it like over 10 years ago, if you think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he came over, moved all the shit back. He drove over with his colleagues, and then they bought like they put everything into the car, and then he drove back to Ireland. And then next day I got a flight back over. And then I remember he gave me like 2 grand. Yeah,
That's
he
nice.
gave me like 2K euro to be like, all right, here's to sort yourself out, help you out. And then
In Hong Kong to go to
yeah,
Hong Kong.
yeah.
I didn't get that money when I moved back.
Yeah,
And you
well,
were moving there to live in his apartment anyways. Well, I did the same thing.
yeah,
But like
yeah. But then I think that experiences were pretty good as well. It was pretty fun. I got back to Hong Kong. You and Mom were already in Hong Kong, remember?
yeah, yeah,
You were
yeah,
there
yeah,
for a
yeah, yeah.
holiday or something.
That
And
was the year when I was sleeping on the couch and you had your room then and you were sleep talking. You were smacking the side of the bed, laughing your ass off in your sleep. So funny. I'll always remember that.
yeah, so but look funny, like I actually it took me like a month and I got a job in IT. And
You've
that
always, everyone knows that you've always just had this like weird luck with getting jobs. You just like, jobs just gravitate to you.
yeah, I hope that's still the same. That's for another topic, another day. So you guys, you gotta like, you gotta subscribe, continuing to know more about us and to hear more about the juicy shit, family shit, because I can't
We
wait to
haven't
tell
gotten
you.
into it yet.
I
Yeah,
can't
I
wait to
think.
tell you what happened this holiday season. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, you have to tell me. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
We'll go
No,
back.
yeah.
Get back to the
So
point of you're moving.
I moved back in 2012, July.
Was it 12 years ago now then?
Yeah,
Wow.
12 years ago. Yeah. So coming July would be my 12th year here in
Mm,
Hong Kong. And you think about it, my daughter's already 6. She's actually turning 7 in March. So basically, I
that's
had her
crazy.
after being in Hong Kong for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty crazy.
So you have you had many jobs in Hong Kong?
So
Was
the
it easy? Okay, maybe the question would be for your experience on finding a job as like an expat, because we're technically expats,
Mm, yeah.
but we're not because we don't look it.
So I think the point you mentioned about the jobs gravitating towards me, I think it's because we both speak fluent English. And I think
Yeah.
that's like in Hong Kong, and funny enough, the first job I had was only 20 minutes away from home by the train. It was in Setmun.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'll put a map on that for people if they don't know where Setmun is. But it's actually still an
Yeah.
industrial area, but there's actually a nice hotel there. I was there a few days ago picking up a friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did a year there. Then I went out and started working in Causeway Bay. And funny how I've always worked in Causeway Bay since then. So I did 9 months in the second job, and then I got a chance to go work in Google. And I was in Google for 4 years. And then I went to the trade desk. So I went away from Causeway Bay for 2 years. I went over to Admiralty, Kamjong. So I'll put another NTR map for people.
Oh yeah, because Google was in Causeway Bay.
Yeah. I went over to Admiralty for I think just under 2 years. No, yeah, because the office moved in 2020 and I got that job in 2018. So I left Causeway Bay for two
Because you were in
years.
Wan Chai first.
Yeah, but Wanzai, Admiralty is like we were at the edge of Admiralty beside Wanzai, Pacific Place 3, or 3 Pacific Place is what they called it.
Oh, it was walking distance from where I used to work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the office decided to move to Causeway Bay. I'm like, oh my God, we're going back to Causeway Bay. And then, like, it's funny
Mm.
because when we went to Causeway Bay and they were like, oh, where do we go for lunch? I'm like, I know all the places. Yeah, and
And
then,
then yeah.
and here we are today. It's like we started our new adventure here with YouTube.
I can't, yeah, I can't wait for your story of like how you built your house. I think that's very exciting. Because I
I
don't know
know.
much about it. I've only just seen photos and stuff when it was happening, so we'll get into that another time.
Yeah.
But
So how was your
yeah.
experience though? Because I was here in Hong Kong. I was like,
Yeah.
did I pick you up? I can't remember if I even picked you up from the airport.
I don't remember. Probably. So I was in university in Dublin for 4 years. I didn't move
Hmm.
away. I think if I did move away like you did, I probably would have also failed. But I was borderline passing all 4 years. It was fine, nothing special. Um, and then I was actually remember I was planning on moving to New Zealand. So I got a working holiday visa for New Zealand for 1 year, which can be
Hmm.
extended for 2 years. But then I was also like, I want to go live in Hong Kong for a few months and try save up more money before because I knew like if I moved to Hong Kong, don't have to pay for rent, just maybe some utilities. Even at that, I didn't.
Hmm.
For the first while, anyways, I didn't. Um,
Sorry, let me pause you there. So I remember my first year in Hong Kong. So I was making nothing back then. Like that was like over 10 years ago, if you think about it. I've been here for 12
yeah.
years now. Back then, I think back then dad made me he like he made me go to the bank with him and set up a standing order. So then
Really?
basically, yeah, so basically money comes out of my bank into his account every month. And he took, I won't say numbers, he took
How much of your monthly salary?
25% of my salary.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but think about how much I was earning back then, and yeah, I guess back then. For
That's still
now,
not bad.
if we're thinking about 25% of that money, and then if
Yeah.
we think about what I'm earning now, and then that money's nothing, of course. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
sorry,
he didn't
go
give
on.
me the 2000 euro. So yeah, I was going back to Hong Kong to experience before I moved to New Zealand. Then I met a guy, and then I didn't move to New Zealand. and then I stayed in Hong Kong. But the job situation, I think it was definitely easier to find a job because we spoke English. Um,
Sorry,
what
is
let's
that
say
the
so
same guy you went to Australia with, or
New
or is it
Zealand, New
New
Zealand.
Zealand? So you went
Yeah,
to
yeah,
New
yeah,
Zealand
yeah.
with that guy. Oh, that's the guy. Okay.
Yeah, we just went for like a 3 week trip. I was trying to figure out if I wanted to stay as well during
Mm,
those 3 weeks.
yeah.
Um, and after like 1 week, I was like, fuck this. It's a beautiful country, but I would not be able to live there for more than 2 months probably. But yeah, job wise, I feel like I was unemployed. No, I wasn't unemployed as much as I was there working there, but I was in a job in a co-working space called the
Mm,
Garage Society, but we say garage because it's very Americanized. Um, a co-working company. That was really fun. It's
mm.
like that was a nice place to dip my toes into working in Hong Kong, I think. But then And then I was meant to move to New Zealand, so I just left the job after 3 months, just before my probation ended, which was great. And then I was unemployed for from like September to February of 2019. So I moved there 2018 when I finished university. How many years was that ago?
6 years
Six?
ago. Yeah.
6 years ago, yeah. And then, so I was in that job for like 3 months, left it. Then I worked in Manulife for how many months?
See, this is
February,
where it gets
March,
interesting for me because
April. I
that
think
was
3 months
when
again.
we fell out for a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's also when you
Was
got your
it?
dog right
Yeah,
before Manulife.
it was when I was becoming unemployed and then Manulife happened and then we fell out,
Mm,
wasn't it?
yeah.
And then yeah, so Manulife for a couple months, then I was unemployed for about 2 months, and then I got into working in the veterinary industry. And I think I was so glad that I just threw my freaking bachelor's degree out the window and started veterinary because I hated office work. Although I worked for it in an office job for a few months last year, but whatever. But yeah, I didn't stay in Hong Kong very long, and I think that was like a happy decision of me to leave because then we rekindled our relationship, which was nice.
I think it was the distance.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
too much for each other when we're together.
yeah, I think it's great. Like we hang out when, let's say, you visited Hong Kong last year for Chinese New Year. Those was it two
Yeah,
weeks you were here? 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah, I think that was great fun. I think, and even when I came back to Ireland for summer for 2 weeks, I mean, I wasn't
Yeah,
there 2 weeks in your face because you had to work, and then I went on like small trips with the family,
yeah,
and like yeah, when you came for Chinese New Year, you went out and did your own thing with your boyfriend, and I had to work, etc. And then yeah, I think the distance helps a lot, and you know the Chinese term. I don't know, do they have one in English? So in Chinese, I'll definitely this will be in the captions. 相見好同住難. Do you know what that means?
no,
Your Chinese is so shit.
I know.
So basically,
So I couldn't
相見好.
survive there for long.
So 相見好 means it's good to see each other, but
Yeah.
同住難 is like living together is hard.
But we
Yeah.
weren't living together.
Yeah, but
It
we're
was
still in the
just,
same area and we're just
yeah. I
yeah.
think because we had like our day-to-day lives didn't match,
Mm,
which was probably the issue.
maybe.
Somehow, I don't know.
But yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, go on with your and then how's Manulife? What was that job like?
I worked in Manulife for like I was only a temporary contract for I think it was meant to only be 6 months, but I left after three.
Oh.
Um, it was too much. It fucked up my mental health so bad.
Mm,
Um, and I spent at least 12 to 13 hours of the day outside of my job. I mean, outside of the house. And that was when I had Nick when he was only still a puppy. And
yeah.
that was really hard for me. Like when I first started that job, I was tempted to rehome him because I was like, I'm not home. I'm only home for like 11 hours during the day. That and 8 of that I was sleeping.
Yeah.
So it was very, very hard. And then yeah,
I never
just
thought
had to
that.
leave
I
it.
never knew that you thought about rehoming him.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, when
shit.
he was, I think it was in February, just after when remember mum and dad came back for Chinese New Year that year, it was 2019. Do you remember that?
Not much.
No. Well,
Oh, wait, I do. I think we were still slightly on speaking terms because I remember I got my new car in 2018 end of 2018,
Your
and
BMW.
yeah, and I purposely got it because it can have two extra seats in the back because I know they're coming
Yeah.
back for Chinese New Year.
Yeah, they were back for Chinese New Year, and then yeah, then I started my job after Chinese New Year.
Mm.
And I think it was just the first week of my job and I was gone. Like it took me an hour and a half, probably, well, it'll take an hour from Sunsoi to Causeway Bay,
Yes,
about an
definitely
hour,
over an hour.
over an hour there. And then I'd be in work for like 9, 10 hours.
Mm.
And this was the strangest thing. I don't know about you, but when I moved back, remember you said if I get a Hong Kong manager, I'd be shit. I'd be like in shit because they'll be really hard on me.
Yeah.
I noticed all my managers when I was there that were foreign, they were either English, Australian, or American. They were
Yeah.
all fucking assholes. They had
Oh.
the mentality of like Asian worth ethic. So
Oh.
my English and Australian manager in Manulife, I'm not going to name names. Don't even remember their names to be completely honest. But I wasn't in Hong Kong Manulife. I was in like Asia
Yeah.
Manulife. I was the regional team of
Yeah.
communications, I think it was. I can't remember what team I was in, but they 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 expected me to stay. They said to me at the start, "We don't expect you to stay until all the seniors are gone, all this." But they expected me to bring my work home. They were like, if you didn't finish it, bring the laptop home and go finish it. I was like,
Mm.
what the fuck? I'm already here for like 10 hours and you want me to travel home for 1 hour and keep working? That's not fucking happening. I did it, I think, once or twice because I felt bad because I didn't finish something that I was meant to finish and I thought I was going to finish it that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the first week I was gone out of the house for 12 hours and then I got home. And I think that's why Nick is so good being home alone is because of that week or that few months that I was
Mm.
working. And I had no life because like all my friends live and work in like the island side and they'd be like, "Oh, you coming out after work for food or drinks?" I'm like, I can't. I've already been out of the house for like close to 12 hours and my dog is only was like 7, 8 months old.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to go home and feed him. And luckily, he's trained to go to the toilet in the shower because I just left the toilet door open. He just goes into the shower to pee.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not like making him hold his bladder and his shit for too long, which was
Mm.
fine. But like, I still need to go home and feed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, probably shouldn't have gotten a dog. But like, we're here now. I've had him for 5 years. But yeah. But then then I got my manager in the veterinary clinic and he's like super Chinese. Like he's like pro China Chinese.
Oh.
Yeah. But like he was the best manager that I had over there and he was so Chinese and they all just laughed at me because everyone I worked with that weren't the vets were
Mm.
all like local Hong Kong people.
Yeah.
They all just laughed at me for my really bad Chinese and they had to teach me or Cantonese and they had to teach me how to write like consonant so and like on the medication stuff
Oh my God, you
because
learned
I
how to
like
write that?
yeah, I had
I
to.
bet you don't remember
I
it
don't
now.
remember. No. So I think working in like a place of where it was just like mainly local Hong Kong people, because I worked in a tiny little village called Lung Wu Hoi, in Fanling,
Yeah.
like the border of China. Barely any English speakers there. The only English speakers there were the vets that we worked with because we had to translate for them. So I think my Cantonese improved so much during those, how long was I there? Like 8 months, I think,
Mm.
before I went home to Ireland. But yeah, that was like the best working experience because I actually really enjoyed that job, other than the part where I had to translate for the vets because my Cantonese was so bad that I think one of the other girls that I used to work with was trying to get me fired because my Cantonese was so bad. But she tries to get everyone fired, so it's not personal.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then I left
Mm.
in 2020, the start of 2020, just as COVID was happening, like before COVID fully exploded. It was just happening in China at the time, and I was in the Philippines with mum when it was starting in China.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was it. 1.5 years in Hong Kong, 3 jobs, and a dog later. Yeah,
How many jobs did I go through? Yes, what's the
probably
time?
3 as well.
Uh,
And you've been there 12 years.
four.
That's not far off.
Yeah, but I
But you've
mean,
stayed
Google was
in
four
that job for
years.
so
Trade
long.
Desk was 5 years.
And between that, you went to Trade Desk from Google when I'd moved there. I remember that
Yes. Yeah.
because then you came to visit me in my job when I was in Garage Society.
Yeah,
Garage.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you bumped into an old colleague when you came to my office. Remember that?
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Arthur, I think it is.
Yeah,
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 he's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
high up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was just he I think because like your place, Garage Society, they're like a co-working space, kind of like WeWork.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
his
So all
company
the
just
little
sort of started up.
startups.
Yeah, so his company just started up and then they were using your space.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, you are employed quite a bit in Hong Kong. How did you feel about that?
I Well, I was employed for the first 3 months. So it was like June, July, August. I left at the
Mm,
end of August. Then
mm,
I was unemployed from September, October, November, December, January, February. So I was unemployed for 6 months.
mm.
I don't know. I loved unemployment. But then also I loved my veterinary job because it wasn't a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 or
Yeah.
9 to 6. Um, and it was still a good 10 hours of my day, but I only worked if I walked, it was only like 20-30 minute walk. And if
Yeah.
I got the bus, the minibus, it was only like 5-10 minutes,
Mm.
depending on if there was a bus.
Because I've never been unemployed since I started working in Hong Kong. So it's kind of weird. Yeah.
Um,
But I've always had
yeah.
debt.
Well,
Like
did,
but
yeah,
like compared to you, my first year I got a credit card and then yeah, that's when shit went to bed or whatever, however you want to say it. And I've always been in debt till guess about 6 months ago.
yeah,
But I'm still in debt, kind of, just a little bit. But it's like, manageable. I can like pay it off in one go if I wanted to. But I'm just obviously I've already used it. So why would I use my cash flow and pay it off right now when I just pay it off slowly? Yeah.
yeah. Oh God. Okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think you'll ever leave Hong Kong?
Um, I don't think so because the house stuff, like, it's still not fully sorted. And then if I were to leave it be maybe 5 years from now, I could say like,
That's
those.
very close.
Yeah, I
That's like a
mean,
very short amount of time.
it's not. If you think about it, it is and it's not.
It literally felt like I lived in Hong Kong 2 years ago, but that was 5 years ago.
I mean, a lot of
More
things
like
can
that,
happen in
6 years
five
ago.
years. You never know.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So I'm saying that's like it's kind of like a standard interview question people ask you. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So maybe I would say, like, obviously this is not an interview, it's just our chat. So I would say maybe in 5 years' time, because I need to consider Sophia's education. She's turning 7 in March, and if we think 5 years later, she'll be 12. Yeah. Or maybe she'd move over to Ireland with Heidi. I don't know. Depends how much money I'm making here.
Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, the both of us are working. So then, obviously, because we're both working and we're both, I wouldn't say high paid. We're above average paid. So
Yeah.
then it makes life easier because we're both earning that kind of money. But then if she moved to Ireland, let's say like this year, end of this year with Sophia, then that means that only half one of us is making money that much. And then because the tax is so low in Hong Kong, it's so much.
And you would not be able to make that money here.
Yeah. Or even if I were making that money, my
You'd be
take
taxed.
home amount would be so much
Yeah.
less. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Stephen was saying, so I gave him a photo book for New
Mm,
Year's, and he was looking at the photos of like Hong Kong because I put photos of Hong Kong. It was like chronological order of 2023 for us.
okay.
And he was like, "Oh, I'd move to Hong Kong." I was like, "I don't think I would move back. I don't know." Like my
Yeah, would you move
MPF,
back? That's a good question. Would you move back
yeah.
to
So I was
Hong Kong?
like, I don't know because life was so easy there, but I'd also have to make a lot more money to be able to sustain myself living there long term.
So, my house is big, so you can stay here for a short time. You're not living here. And we need to set like how much time we can see each other if you do move to Hong Kong. Or
No, I
maybe we
don't
could
think
do these
so.
recordings in person.
We'll rent out a studio space. We'll make one of the floors a studio
Oh,
space.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I'll
That'd be
see you
cool.
like once a week and that's it, no more. That day will
Yeah.
be where you come over for a family dinner, blah, blah, blah. Then we do our recordings. Then, all right, I'm seeing you next week. Bye.
I don't know. I don't like. I do see myself living in Asia again in the future. Do I?
You really need to get your fortune read.
I have.
So
Which type
mine,
of fortune?
like, there's so many different types. So mine is called so the English term is so stupid. It's called a purple star alignment or something like that. In Chinese, it's called 集美 also. And it takes your birth time, date, obviously, date and time, and it looks at the constellation of when you were born.
Oh, is this just your like natal chart?
I have no idea. But apparently, the person that read it for me, he's learned it for a lot of years, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it was free. He's not an actual those Sifu, like those master like palm readers or whatever. Yeah, he's just he does as a hobby and it's an interest. And I asked him, would I ever go back to Ireland? And he said, you can always move back anytime you want, but you're going to move out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I'm so like, I don't know if I'd move back or not. But yeah, maybe I'd send Sophie over to live with you or something.
Please don't. Can't handle that.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I were to move to Hong Kong, I'd hope that you would be out of it. Just so we're not close. Like, obviously, we're
Fuck
still
you.
like our
No.
relationship is still
So
there, but
so we do have an agreement with our properties that if there's always room for you here and there's always room for
yeah,
me in Ireland, we can just
yeah,
swap places.
yeah. We'll do it like a house swap.
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's another
no.
topic. Yeah. I think
But
we
Hong Kong,
yeah.
what? Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, you go. You go.
Okay. So yeah, Hong Kong. Because I'm gone now, I think of it as just a memory in the past
Mm,
of my time there.
yeah.
So it's interesting that you're still there, but like our paths of from school, university, and then we both moved to Hong Kong when we finished
Yeah.
university. Well, you for 1 year before
Yeah.
you moved. But yeah, I think that's it's interesting how that happened. Because I think a
Oh,
lot of our
wow.
cousins didn't
What,
move back to Hong Kong, you know?
what made you decide to move to Hong Kong though?
I was meant to go to New Zealand.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
was
So
only
you
meant to be
like
there. I was
for
only
like a
meant to
few
be there
months.
for like
Yeah.
3 months. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So all my best friends are in Hong Kong. They moved before me.
But they were all from university.
Yeah. Like my friend
Mm.
Wei, the pig farm dude.
Big
Yeah.
farm, dude.
Yeah. Okay. I think we can close off.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Cool.
cool.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for listening, watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify. Make sure to give us a follow, a like, follow us on Instagram to see our little preview clips of our next podcast.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see you next week
Yeah.
for another episode.
Okay. Cool. Laters.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.